Same as me.
Kapayapaan, maligayang pakikinig. Ang talakayan ay patungkol sa makadiwang pag-aaral na ukol sa espiritual at pambihirang karanasan ni Ginoong Billy Edward Albert Meyer. Paalala, ang lahat ng inyong maririnig ay base lamang sa naunawaan ng bawat nagbabahagi. Ito po ay maaaring may pagkukulang na maaaring mapunan sa susunod na pag-uusap. Sikapin po nating pagmuni-munihan ang bawat salitang ibinabahagi. Salome.
Welcome, everyone. So, tonight's topic is Decalogue, the Decalogue, continuation of on striving, the law of striving. So, will be presented by our friend in Thailand, David Castile. Take it away, David, and welcome everybody. Salome.
I made my background the entrance pathway to the center. I found it online, so it's kind of cool.
I like your background.
Yeah, it's the entrance to the center. I wanted to say before I get started that this is going to be a little bit short because I was near the end of the chapter and I didn't want to break into the other chapter and kind of like, I just wanted to finish off with this and so we can start fresh on the next chapter on the next time around. This one is about 9 pages, so it's okay, but it'll give us some time for discussion and whatnot, and so we'll see what happens, okay?
Sure.
All right, let's get started. Addendum, Part 1 on Striving, Section 5, page 200. One can almost already soon speak of a mass phenomenon of all of the human beings, searching for and researching into the actual truth. Whoever more renounce the must believe and shift to the side of the wanting to know, because they are only interested in the actual truth and no longer in religious, sectarian, or false philosophical nonsense. But where is the truthly knowledge and the truthly teaching to be found? Who can provide satisfaction to the human longing for effective truth and the effective knowledge, where all teachings of all religions and sects, false philosophies, and other erring worldviews prove themselves, after all, to be null and void in connection with truth and evolutionability? Interesting word. Page 202. Who can satisfy the honest human longing for the truth in all things and the striving in the human beings for evolutive advancement and for that which is higher and more absolutely fully developed? Who can do that? Where, after all religions, sects, false philosophies, and erring worldviews, etc., completely fail? The answer to that is simple. The truthfully teaching of the Spirit is solely and exclusively able to do this. The teaching that was created from the cognition of the creational laws and natural laws and recommendations, anchored therein is that the human being life sense is in the striving for that which is higher and more absolutely fully developed, in order to one day enter into the creational being of the herein referred to creation, as well as the absolute absolutum. The teaching of the Spirit of creational origin alone knows the effective truth, and every single truthfully answer to every single question which arises from the evolutive striving of the human being, or that which is absolutely fully developed. Solely and exclusively, the creational teaching of the Spirit is of truth and of importance for the human striving, because solely therein, entirely everything is to be found which is of value to the life and the existence, to the being, to the creation, to the questions and answers, and to the striving for that which is absolutely fully developed and for absolutely full development. The truthfully teaching of the Spirit is solely and exclusively capable of doing this, which has originated from the creational laws and recommendations. Although over many thousands of years, many sects, religions, false philosophies, and other erring worldviews, the human beings were enslaved, robbed of their own will and the truth in regard to the teaching of the Spirit, and were driven into confusion and irrational teachings and irrational assumptions. So nevertheless, it is still not too late for a reversal. Still, the human being has not reached that point that it would become impossible for them to recognize, to learn, and to fulfill any knowledge of the truth and the teaching of the Spirit. Even though for many human beings, the mere belief in religions and sects, as well as in false philosophies, etc., has become untenable. Yet it is thus inevitable to lament that already a resignation begins to gain ground. The truthfully teaching of the Spirit, the tidings and teaching of the efficacy and the fulfillment of the creational laws and recommendations provide refuge to those searching for and researching into the truthfully truth in the all-embracing love of the creation, in the answers to all of the life's questions and generally the entire existence. Just as hidden connections of the cosmic and worldly occurrences again and again come to light, that in the hardship a rescue always comes. Thus now also comes the power and the knowledge to those who guide the reawakened striving towards the future of the truth and the knowledge about the creational teaching of the Spirit. In the human being towards the light, towards the truthfully life, and towards the progress of that which is higher and more absolutely fully developed. When one envisions the emerging situation, particularly in the present time, then it becomes increasingly recognizable that the human being more and more asks for logic and for rationality and strives diametrically opposed towards that which, e.g., the Buddhism demands from the human beings, that they must reject any manner of looking at a problem that exclusively goes beyond the practical purpose. This implies that the Buddhism demands from the human being that they ask absolutely no theoretical questions and should undertake no speculative investigations and researches, etc. Particularly not about the inner nature of the human being themselves, not about the world, and not about the life, etc. The irrational teaching of Buddha rejects the rationality and the intellect and the creational impulsion of the evolutive striving as a result of the tendency to know a lot, which only leads to an alleyway of the views a maze, a chasm of the views. Furthermore, this is nothing other than a confluence into even deeper suffering with which the human being of earth is afflicted through life and death. Striving for that which is higher and more absolutely fully developed, or truthfully evolution in the creational sense, is simply frowned upon in the Buddhism, which is why Buddha also taught absolutely no system of the philosophy, no teaching of the life, and of the truthfully being, no metaphysics, and no teaching of the rationality, no teaching of the intellect, and no teaching of the striving for evolution. According to the Buddhist explanations, Buddha taught that it is of absolutely no value to know what the value and origin of the world is, what questions and answers are connected with the origination of it, and of the life, and of the human being. What is the duration of life, and of the world, and of the universe? What are all of the laws and recommendations of the life, of the world, of the universe, and of the creation? Because the answers to all of the questions and the knowledge about the entire existence are not of significance. Because all knowledge is nothing other than intangible world information and world announcements, which can be allowed absolutely no significance of value. The entire interest of the Buddhism is built slowly upon the question of the practical elimination of suffering, upon the all-encompassing significance of this irrational belief that the suffering and the affliction of the human being must be overcome and destroyed, in which case suffering and affliction become equated with life and death. According to the Buddha, philosophers and other thinkers, even if they belong to those who concern themselves with the truthly truth and also recognize and practice and teach this, are nothing more than human beings and misguided ones corrupted by the thirst for cognition as an end in itself, who want to have all mysteries of the existence solved, who, however, in no wise will have their plans work out, because Buddha solely and exclusively possesses all wisdom, and only his teaching of suffering has validity. This irrational teaching also alleges that the world mystery, as such, belongs to that which brings disturbance in its wake, when one concerns itself with it, and that those who bother with it are the same as those born blind, whom one has let feel an elephant. This one has felt the head, the other the trunk, the third the foot, and the fourth the tail. And now each one exclaims, "The elephant looks like this. No, it looks like this," until a battle of the opinions ensues into a battle of the fists. From Theme and Basis of the Doctrine of the Buddha by G. Grimm. The fact of the new time and of the present time is this, that the human being has discovered anew the creational law of the evolutive striving. Also, the age of Aquarius itself forges ahead with horrendous power and spurs on the striving of the human being. It is the time of the highly pressing truth that demands for intellect and rationality, for logic and knowledge and progress. It is the time of the breakthrough of the natural sciences and all other real and truthfully sciences. It is the new time, the time of the renewal. And this renewal and this time, which no longer wants to believe and no longer wants to be connected to assumptions, but rather solely and exclusively, it only wants to know. And all of the rational human beings of this time, through their creational law-given striving, want to evolve, advance, and progress in their knowledge, in their intellect, and in their rationality, and so, therefore, in their consciousness, which is able to lead them to that which is higher and more absolutely fully developed. Indeed, still very much more, because the newly awakened human being, who again becomes conscious of the creational striving within themselves, is no longer content with beliefs, assumptions, unlogic and swindle and deception. No, they do not even put up with the flimsier kind of knowledge. Pure school learning and book knowledge no longer satisfy the human being of the new time, who has again found the striving and is searching and researching, thus also not the abstract pattern knowledge as it was taught since time immemorial, that declared and propagated empty terms as knowledge, and those whose entire cognition in turn are based only in created terms without any experience. Any human being who is open to the creational striving and therefore evolving, rational, and even only halfway logically thinking, rejects every single philosophy of terms, quite especially those that were common earlier. Yet even the present day philosophy of terms and the mere knowledge of terms can exact absolutely no more interest from today's rationally living human being in their striving for that which is higher and more absolutely fully developed, let alone to bind them through beliefs or assumptions. The human being who follows the creational striving asks for rationality and for intellect, for logic, recognition, and understanding. They want direct insight and cognition, and they also want the direct experience in order to be able to understand and realize everything in logical sequence. They also want their consciousness-based and metaphysical imaginings to be based upon their own direct experience. Therefore, the human being wants to fathom, research, and recognize all of their knowledge and all of their cognitions and insights from the deepest of their inner self, precisely according to the creational law that ultimately all knowledge, recognition, understanding, and comprehension, and the experience for all things originate out of the deepest depths of the human consciousness, and therefore the innermost of the human being themselves, and are solely and exclusively able to originate there. At all times, only the signpost, the necessary teaching, can come from the outside, which shows the right way to the searching and the researching human being, striving for that which is higher and more absolutely fully developed, which, however, is not to be found in religious, sectarian, and false philosophical, as well as other erring worldviews. It is given to the human being, as also every other existence, to strive for that which is higher and for that which is more absolutely fully developed, in an eternal evolutive course. Therefore, the human being strives for knowledge and wisdom, for cognition, and for experience. Valuable experience is only obtained, however, through a decisive cognition that reaches from the depths of the consciousness to the surface. All experience is based on cognition and knowledge, and as such, it must be experienced from cognition and knowledge, out of which the wisdom is formed. Even a complete reassurance in absolute certainty is able to arise only out of experience, which must be assiduously worked out from knowledge and cognition. Therefore, it is given that solely and exclusively, the creational evolutive striving in the human being is decisive, that out of the one, the other arises in progressive form. Out of assiduous thinking comes an imagination, which further assiduously pursued becomes a cognition, which in turn, in further assiduous advancement, forms itself into the knowledge. If through the continuous striving of the human being, the knowledge is achieved, then the process of assimilation and experiencing form follows, out of which the power of the experience forms itself, which through further assiduous experience forming changes into the wisdom. Wisdom, however, as well as previous experience, require no belief and no assumptions anymore, because experience and wisdom are built upon effective truth and on incontrovertible logic, which allow neither belief nor assumptions. All abstract, irrational teachings and pseudo-cognitions, with all of their endless sources of error, fall down and disappear into the darkness of non-existence. Once a human being has assured and convinced themselves in this wise of the effective and truthful existence of a matter through experience, then it is no longer possible for them to believe in this existence or to make it their own in an assumption-based manner. Because for them, the existence of the matter is only valid as effective truth through self-lived experience. Therefore, a human being assured of the effective truth in such a manner can no longer be given proof from the outside, because they, in their creational law conditioned striving, fathom every proof in themselves as they work with their imagination and hence gain knowledge and cognitions, which they, in logical sequence, know to implement into experience, which they then, in turn, form into the wisdom. Only in this single provable way of the entire creational truth is the human being able to evolve and to make the knowledge, the love, the wisdom, and the experience of the creational and natural laws and recommendations accessible to them, in order to let them strivingly progress to that which is higher and more absolutely fully developed. Only this highest degree of the truth of creational spiritual teaching is available to free the human being of the anxiety regarding their problems, which are based therein that the death is a horror event and a life-ending finality, according to the erring Buddhist teaching, is an affliction and suffering, as this is also claimed of the life. Truthfully, neither the life nor the death are necessary to be overcome, because these truly represent neither affliction nor suffering, but rather it is necessary to recognize the life and the death in their eternal creational laws and recommendations, which through their following, anchored in the striving, leads toward that which is higher and more absolutely fully developed, and to the inextinguishable life and the all great timely being. Both the existence of the new time and the human being themselves require this truth. Cognition and experience corresponding to the highest degree. Particularly asking for this are all those human beings, through truth finding and logic recognizing, are able to free themselves from the murderous, criminal, enslaving, and exploitive claws of the religions, sects, false philosophies, and other erring worldviews. And it is all those human beings in whom the stagnation caused by religions and sects and by false philosophies and by erring worldviews slowly but surely dissolves, in order to grant the due place for the light of the creational truth, and consequently the creational law-based required striving, in order to be evolutively effective in the life and in the death, thus as it was determined by the creation for unfathomable times, for the unstoppable progress of all life towards that which is higher and more absolutely fully developed. Finito.
Beautiful. That's a very good read, David. Very good. Any questions or want to clarify? I really love what you read, to be honest. Lots of wisdom up there. I hope you guys listen to it and you read it.
I tend to read a little fast, so lately I've been trying to pay attention and read slower,
Yeah.
and with a bit of inflection, so that the text doesn't sound flat. You know, put a little pizzazz into it.
I mean, it's, the voice is beautiful. I mean, as you read it slowly, uh, you utter the words correct. I mean, it's beautiful, easy to understand.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
In fact, it's very hard to ask question because it's really self-explanatory. It's very clear, and you cannot. There's no question that exists in my mind except that how come Buddha has all wisdom and yet his philosophical teachings is false. It is said there it's null and void, especially regarding to sufferings and afflictions. What is lacking in his teachings with regards to creational teachings?
yeah. I think. Oh, sorry. I don't know if it's really Buddha or the Buddhism, because when we see the latest contact report, Buddha knows about the creational laws and he understands it well, but his follower that corrupted the teaching and misunderstood it, and yeah, they create their new religion according to its teaching, just like what happened to
now
the
Billy
rest of the
Billy
prophet.
Billy said that when they traveled back in time and visited the Buddha, that he was really sad to hear that his teachings had been
Corrupted.
exploited and had been falsified, and because I think if I remember correctly, Billy even said that the Buddha in general was pretty close to the mark,
Yeah.
but you know the teachings just got lost, like they did with Emmanuel, like they did with Muhammad,
Yep.
like you know.
In general, it corrupted, right? Like people may probably doesn't understand the essence of the logic. Although we know that creational laws, the teaching, there's only one single truth, right? And people that really understand it and had the wisdom of that creational laws and understanding of creational laws, they can explain it correctly. But people that doesn't understand, even they listen to Buddha or to Muhammad or to Emmanuel or even Billy, people still misunderstood the teaching, and take it out of context, just like the other prophet. That's why it's very important to get the wisdom, the logic of all teachings, so that, because that's the real. It's written here. It says the logic and the wisdom that brings everything.
Well, and
The
it also
validity.
it has to
Yeah.
be it has to be. I think one of the most important things of this particular part of the presentations is that it emphasizes the reliance on direct experience.
Yep.
Yeah, right.
That's
You
what
don't
I'm saying.
you don't
Yeah.
take somebody's word for it.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
don't feel it down in here, if you don't experience it directly, then you can't talk about it in an effective manner,
Exactly.
because
Yeah.
you're just like a parrot. You're just parroting other people's words.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's why direct experience is so important. But the key in the creational teachings, and this is the primary thing that separates them from all other religious and sectarian teachings and stuff, which separates them is that in this age, with this prophet,
Yeah.
the teachings are presented in a clear and unambiguous manner,
Yep.
Mhm.
without any there's I mean,
There's no parables or hyperbole.
yeah, I mean,
It's
he
straight.
occasionally uses
Yeah, of
examples,
course. Yeah.
and like aphorisms or whatever. But in particular, the teachings are the teachings.
Yeah. It's not.
And of course, in the future, somebody's going to get a hold of this and they're going to start fooling them. And they're going to develop some kind of religion. You know what's going to happen.
Mm,
The key is that the teachings, the original teachings, will always be there.
of course. I mean,
And we'll always be able to go back to them. There's always going to be somebody holding the original teachings, you know,
I
not
mean,
in a group, or there's always going to be people holding the original teachings,
yes,
regardless of what happens later on.
absolutely. Because if that's going to happen, and I mean, we say the creation is the ultimate. I mean, it's ultimate here, right? The ultimate holds everything. The truth, the truth, the truth, not the version of other truths or opinionated truth. There's only one truth. That's why whatever happen, it will come out, and the truth will prevail. The real truth, the truthly truth, the creational truth will always prevail, uh, regardless of anything, regardless of any belief or religion that will come out, or any false prophets, stuff like that. But of course, we know that Age of Aquarius is coming. We only had 6 years before the full pace of Aquarius, and all
It's a
religion.
speeding train. There's no
Yeah.
slowing it down.
Exactly. All religion, false philosophies, sects are slowly dying. Yeah. And people are in
But
shock.
they're not going down. They're not going down without a fight. You can
Yeah,
see
of
that.
course, I know.
You
And
know they're going to
you
go
can
down
see even what's
hard.
happening in geopolitics, even straight lying,
Yeah.
people still believe on it, the false propaganda, media, everything.
Oh
It's
yeah.
all lies. People cannot
Yeah.
use their logic. I don't know why. I just always question my thing, but of course, I
Well,
understand.
their magic was taken away. Their logic, their magic, their ability
Yes.
to create,
And
their
critical
ability
thinking.
to think in independent ways have been robbed by politics and religion
Yeah.
for thousands of years. You know,
Yeah. It's
and
all
it's so sad because they've been become a prisoner in their own bodies.
Yeah.
You know, they only imagine that they're free. They never. They once you have a direct experience of true freedom, once you
Yeah.
realize that you are immortal, once you realize that you are creation and creation is you, once you start to realize that stuff, it's like there's no cage, no cell that can hold you. They could lock you up in prison. They could
Yep.
lock you up in prison for the rest of your life, but it wouldn't touch you. It
Yep.
would touch your physical body, but it would not touch your spirit, would not touch your inner self, you know.
Mm.
That's one of the most liberating things I think that comes with the creational teachings.
Yep. I mean, it's not, we don't stop from knowing something only, like knowledge. We don't stop from knowledge. We strive for more wisdom, the practical experience, understanding it logically. You're aware that you experience this thing, because there's an experience that you just don't understand what happened, right? It's just nothing, but there's an awareness that there's a great experience. Like, for example, failures is really good experience, right? And then through
Oh, they're important. They're
it's very
they're
important.
intrinsic.
Mi-
They're so important.
yeah, mistakes, failure, that's the thing that brought you a big awareness and bring you wisdom as well. That's why I'm a bit thankful, because also I've been to exposed to religious nonsense, all the false philosophies,
Oh.
sectarian. I've been exposed. That's a mistake on my part too. But I learned a lot,
Oh,
I learned a lot, and I know
all the
which one
time.
is fake.
But
Which
I say I wasted so much time chasing gurus and all of this kind of
Yeah, why
stuff, and
what you're
yeah,
looking
why
for,
is
it will
I
it
find
didn't
you.
really
why
I didn't really
yeah,
waste
why
it.
is it that we always said that we waste our time?
Yeah,
Well, that's exactly it.
exactly. But you don't waste
When
it,
I
Yeah,
right?
think about it, when
why?
I really
Why?
think about it honestly, I didn't waste my time. I needed to do that.
Yeah,
Just like
exactly.
Billy needed to do what he needed to do
Yeah.
before he fully took on his mission, why he needed to go around the world, why he needed to experience Buddhism, why he needed to experience Islam, why, blah, blah, blah. It was a part of his evolution. And now I look back, and although it does seem like, wow, 30 or so or more years, I was just wandering around,
Yeah.
but actually, in truth, I was learning the entire time.
I mean,
And
it's
I
that.
have to be grateful for that, not resentful or not
Yeah,
sad that that time went past.
that's
I
the
have to be,
way.
it's also mistakes. I was having a little conversation with a fellow on Facebook. He's a Figu friend, and we were talking about mistakes and the difference between the way we think about mistakes and the way that ordinary people think about mistakes. And I was saying that when I was younger, mistakes and errors and stuff like that were a source of embarrassment for me. They were a source of I used to beat myself up over it and get an inferiority complex because I made these mistakes and like I was imperfect or something like that. But now I look at mistakes and errors as a gift.
Yeah, that's how.
Because each time I make a mistake or an error, I get an insight. It comes with a silver lining,
Yeah.
And so now I'm grateful for mistakes. I'm grateful for errors. I'm grateful for when my behavior is in my face,
Yeah.
because it shows me in a mirror. It shows me what I need to learn, what I need to change.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
yeah.
Precisely correct. Because I mean, it's if look at the nature, right? I mean, they give us long time, 46 trillion, I mean, it's 115 trillion years of expanding of creation, total of 311 trillion years. We had a very, very long time to do the waxing and waning, repeating again, The nature itself gave us a lot of time to amend all the mistakes, to refine, to become more knowledgeable, wisdom, gain more wisdom, all sorts. And think we should take that as a gift, like what you said, your mistakes, you take it as a gift of our consciousness to find ways and to evolve. That's the most important thing. If you read this one on, it says wisdom, however, as well as previous experience changes into wisdom. Oh, sorry, wisdom, previous experience require no belief, no assumptions anymore, because experience and wisdom are built upon effective truth and inconvertible logic, and which allow neither belief nor assumptions. So that's a great thing, because when you
Yeah,
say
very
wisdom,
true.
you don't need
Yeah.
any assumptions.
And now you are very careful because you might be hooked by assumptions, The word there mentioned, assumptions, is very tricky because even though we are studying the creational teachings, we might be hooked in that assumption. So we must be careful of dealing with life using the assumptions. Yeah, using
Yeah.
assumptions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
And then in page 204, it is said there that according to the Buddhist explanation, Buddha taught that it is of absolutely no value to know the value and the origin of the world. So this is our experience when sometimes we talk to another person about that. We cannot avoid to mention that the world is million years and there are human beings, and then they will think of why do you need to know that? Why do you
Yeah.
overthink? They
Yeah.
they will tell you
but at the same time,
it's
at the same
overthinking.
time, they'll be able to run off their top 10 sports stars, their top 10 movie stars,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
they're, they'll
Too
tell
much
you about
jack,
half a
right?
dozen
All
of
the
their
media.
favorite TikTok videos. Yeah, they know all of that stuff.
Yeah.
But who wants to know about the world?
And the
Who wants to
truth.
know
yeah,
about how
No,
we
no
got
the
one.
here?
entire
No
Who
one.
wants to
universe.
know about any of that?
I've been having conversation with different people, like even Christianity. I think they teach this wrong assumptions. You don't need to study that. You don't need to question it. Just believe. Just believe. You get those jackpot kind of mentality. Just believe and you'll be okay. I'm
Here,
not
put on these
satisfied with.
And then
handcuffs. Put on these
Yeah.
and then we
handcuffs.
cannot
You'll be fine.
Yeah, and we cannot move on. Yeah,
Yeah.
we cannot move on if we will not know the origin, right?
Yeah.
When we come to this creational teaching, it is very important to know our origin, the origin of the world, the origin of human beings, and then that is the whole picture.
Your
And
existence
if we do, yeah, the existence is
of
very
everything.
important. That's what I realized when,
Yeah.
yeah, here
Because
studying the
if you know where you
creational
came from,
teachings.
like if we
Yeah,
know we came where what we are, originally, the ur existence, the ur creation, what are we as an energy, as a
it's
creation being,
it's not only
and then
from
you
Adam and Eve.
you understand everything, that there's a continuous striving, right? That's why this topic always, it always brought up the law of striving. Like for example, like, oh, you don't need to understand that. Why,
Why?
as a human beings, you need to strive to understand all things, even if you don't understand it, but at least you tried, right? I saw, I heard some, even in Figu community, I saw some people that they don't strive. They said, oh, you don't need to learn you don't need to understand the absolute nothing or creation. Why? I'm striving to understand it. But of course, you don't need to focus your whole life to that thing. I mean, there's a lot of time, there's a lot of repetition and
Yeah, there's a whole
reincarnation.
world out there.
Yeah, but the thing is, at least we try. If I mean, it's like we need to try. That's what Billy's saying. Like we need to try to understand things, even
Well,
at the moment we don't understand.
the the striving in that respect,
Mm,
the striving for knowledge, for wisdom, is what separates us from the lower life forms.
yeah, yeah,
When we cease to strive for knowledge and wisdom, we're simply putting ourselves at the most base form of humanity.
mm.
The eat, work, sleep, have some fun.
Yep, yep.
That right there is the most base form. And unfortunately, a
That's
large portion of the Earth
population.
human
Yeah, I think
are
that's
there right now,
yeah. Because that's the
and
programming of everything. Like they started from school, right? That's the only like a process, like a
yeah,
corporation. That's a programming that you just do this. You don't need to strive more. Just do
you
this.
don't get knowledge for wisdom. You get knowledge to get ready to work for a job. You get
Mm,
knowledge to be a little worker bee. You don't get knowledge. You don't. That's why it says in here that book learning and school learning uh, are really are
Hello.
are not are not
not enough.
equated are
The
not equated
practical.
with true knowledge and wisdom.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Exactly. That's true. It's like, yeah, I mean, it's reading books or, like cover to cover, verse by verse. It's not really effective. It's not really enough. It's something that you can digest it, even just a small knowledge, but you utilize it very carefully, and you learn a lot of wisdom on it. I think for me, it's more effective than consuming too much knowledge. Like you can memorize it, but you cannot really understand the practical experience of that knowledge. What I mean?
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, that I've got all of the main books,
Yeah.
the main spiritual teaching books. But I will be very honest with you. There are certain ones that I won't even touch right now
Wow. Yeah.
because I opened them up and I didn't get it. So I closed them back up.
Yeah,
But
and
now there are others, the minute I opened it up,
it's
this
sink in.
it just started flowing,
Yeah.
right? So what I've realized is that you can't just pick up a book and read it
Yeah.
and gain knowledge and wisdom. You have to be prepared. You have to be ready to receive.
The
And if
impulse.
I'm not developed enough at that point to receive that knowledge, then it's not going to mean anything to me.
Yeah.
So I've got a couple of books. I forget which one. But I got a couple that I just put them back in the bookshelf for right now. I said, I'll catch you later.
Yeah, I think that's the way how to read the books for me. Like I had most of the book, but I don't read them. Like I'm that kind of person that I finish one book and don't read the other book. No, I just pick up everything, like just randomly pick up chapters on the book and read it. And if I don't understand it, I just leave it there. And then if I do something and I had experienced something, oh, that book's and I can remember that book. I read that book, and then there's a
Mhm.
slowly wisdom coming in, because you read the book on the first time but it doesn't make sense to you. But of course, when you go out to do your thing or your life, to do whatever at your work, and then you just realize, oh, that's what the book saying. that's a
That's
practical
exactly
that's a
that's
practical
exactly what this
experience.
presentation
Yeah.
mentioned, direct experience.
Direct
Because
experience.
Yeah.
because the knowledge without direct experience will not equate to wisdom.
Yeah.
You have to have the knowledge combine with direct experience in order to gain wisdom.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
why.
I have a
Otherwise,
question. I have a question, and it is often mentioned here in the book, in the lecture today. The higher and more absolutely fully developed. Can you explain more what it is? What does it mean?
What page, Tita Helen?
Yeah, it's almost all in all pages. It is
yeah.
mentioned the higher and more absolutely fully developed. Yeah, it's mentioned in every page. What does it mean?
Well, I think they equate that with the absolute absolutum,
Yeah.
because in reality, that's what we're all supposed to be striving for, is to at one time be one with creation, with the absolute absolutum, and you know,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's yeah. I mean, it's in every.
In 208, in page 208. At all times, only the signpost, the necessary teaching can come from the outside, which shows the right way to the searching and researching human being, striving for that which is higher and more absolutely fully developed, which, however, is not to be found in religious, sectarian, and false philosophical as well as other areas worldwide. And then on the very last page in 212, it is mentioned again that it was determined by the creation for unfathomable world times for the unstoppable progress of all life toward that which is higher and more absolutely fully developed.
Yeah. Just like what David said, in every creation, there's always a law of striving, right? There's a process. There's expansion. It always evolve. Like mature. Absolute means that's the fully. It doesn't need expansion anymore. It's absolute. That's why we need to achieve is achieve the highest and fully develop evolution in entire existence, entire creation, including us. That's why our evolution is continuously, our striving is continuously, because that's our nature, that's our that's our goal, that's our ultimate goal, to achieve the higher and more absolutely fully developed. We don't need to stay young. We don't need to stay undeveloped or developing. We always achieve for more. It's not in higher wisdom, higher knowledge, or higher logic, or something like that, because we can achieve that. But of course, it's not on only in one lifetime. It's millions of lifetime.
yeah, in essence, higher and more absolutely fully developed is the final goal
Yeah.
of our evolution.
Mhm.
So we never
It's
stop.
the whole point of our evolution is to obtain that which is higher and more absolutely fully developed.
Yeah.
That's where we're heading, you know? It's like looking off at the mountains in the distance, and yeah, that's where we got to go.
Yeah.
Higher and more fully, absolutely developed.
That's why
Is
the
it the
uh
Pitale? Is it the Pitale level?
no, it's creation level. Absolute
Yeah,
level.
yeah. That's the end of it.
Yeah.
Is it more kind, more
No.
modest, more respectful,
Mm.
more
Uh,
everyday in our life?
uh,
Is it, yeah?
yeah. It's as a human being, right? Compared to religion, what really bringing up to us is something we don't stop to evolve. We don't stop to strive. That's the essence of its message here. Because in religion, they say, oh, just believe on Jesus Christ or something, or just on the Buddhist, just take away the pain, no more no more pain and stuff like that, something like that, and they stop from there. But the creational teaching is saying there's an ultimate goal that we need to achieve. It's a continuously evolution. It's a long period of time that we need a lot of repetition to achieve it, and that's the goal. Even improving our life, improving our consciousness every day, all knowledge and wisdom that we gathered every day, if we can expand that and we never stop, I think that's, for me, that's the what I understand on the teaching, that you will never stop to evolve. We never stop to strive. Yeah.
So what level now is Billy compared to us?
He attained the level of Ban's root. Ban's root means, of course, the who really utilize and understand the creational laws. It's higher than the root level. It's Ban's root. But of course, that's the creational evolution, or understanding the creational
So we are
truth.
so we are still in the low level.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we're still on striving,
Oh,
but of course,
yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
everything that everything start from the bottom. There's no such thing as you already evolved. That's why we don't need to compare us to someone, because every
Yeah.
one of us has their own phase of evolution and own
Mhm.
level of evolution. So we don't need to look up someone, or else it's we're gonna be lost. I mean, it's, like for example, like if we
Uh-uh.
say, like, if we always look up with
Look high.
looking high to the
Uh,
person that's already there, what's the
Mm.
point? I mean, if you're gonna miss your own development. You know what I mean? Or
We used to have a saying in Buddhism. We had a saying
yeah.
that people would say, "Well, am I enlightened? Or how do I get enlightened?"
yeah,
And the point was, and many Zen masters have said this, you're already enlightened. You are
Mhm.
enlightenment. We
yeah,
Yeah.
are creation. It's just that we haven't evolved in our wisdom and our knowledge enough to realize it fully.
Mhm.
But we're all the same. We're
we're
all
all the same.
creation.
Yeah.
Just
I
the only
agree to
difference
that.
the only difference is that some of us are sudden school, like they call, and some of us are slow school,
Yeah.
It just depends on our uptake. And it doesn't mean that one person is better than the other or
It's
one person is more
Mhm.
advanced. We're all basically the same. We're all
yeah. We all came from
creation,
one creation energy.
We are
and
uh, in my thoughts, we are the same because we have the same we have the same creational energy or the spirit that is in us. So the knowledge that is being provided to us from the creation are all the same. But our consciousness are different.
Yeah.
We have different levels. The
oh
consciousness
yeah,
of
Yeah.
like the sectarians is different, but the creational energy that is in us, they are all the same. We
Yeah.
can say that if we are connected with the innermost, which is the spirit, we are connected with the innermost and the inner nature of us, then we are already in relation with the creation. So we are probably almost near, like Billy probably has a lot of knowledge because he is using also already the impulses that comes from the inner nature, the innermost nature, and using the inner nature as well as our consciousness, his consciousness. Now, our consciousness is not yet completely evolved because we're not yet connected completely with the impulses that comes from the innermost nature. And comparing, I always say I want to compare because those sectarians, those highly religious, or those who are that are not yet completely knowledgeable about what we're learning. So for me, I'm already at least in a high evolution, not highest, but compared with the others who are is still delusional with religion, with a God, wherein us, we already know that something, that we already have the creational, the energy that is giving us impulses to learn more, then we are more better than them. We are at least on a higher evolved being than them. That is
The
my
only, the only
my
difference
thoughts.
is that
That's my
we've
thoughts.
escaped from jail and they haven't.
Mm.
Right.
No.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's everything.
They're still there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're still in prison. We're not. We've escaped.
Yeah.
But now,
Yeah,
but
we
now,
remove the
but now
chain.
that
We
we've
remove the chain.
escaped, we have a whole new
perspective.
set of responsibilities and goals and things to achieve. Once you get out of jail, it's a whole different world out there.
That's
No.
right. That's right.
Exactly. I mean, it's everything will get everyone or every creation energy. Everyone here will get it because we're all going back to creation as one.
Oh, eventually,
Yeah.
everyone. Sure.
It's just a matter of level of awareness or consciousness level. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Even
yeah.
the smallest beings in this universe will go back to creation. So, but in
Was
different
it?
level of awareness.
Didn't Billy incarnate from the Arahat Athersata level?
Yeah, he was pulled up from Arahat
Yeah,
Atasata.
yeah.
Even then twice, but it just come back.
Okay.
He volunteered, didn't he?
He volunteered, yes, and arranged by Arahat Atasata in Betale because of what
Uh,
happened to the Enoch people, and he feel like he's the responsible of what happened because of his
yeah,
that destroyed the planet and universes and galaxies.
yeah.
And he need to brought up this creational teaching, but of course this creational teaching is it's a universal one, so every universe has the same creation teaching, that's why they call it creational universal teaching. It's the same, but it's of course different language, different presentation, different form, but the essence are basically the same. So
Yeah, the Pleiadian has said that they've run into different human civilizations throughout the multiverse that although they don't subscribe to this particular teaching, their teachings were almost identical.
yeah, it is. What's the name of the universal prophet and prophetess in the universe? Forgot the name.
I think it was the Tao universe.
Yeah, they had similar teaching. A universal prophet there
Yeah.
also that presented this.
And the
They had
and
two.
the Sonar,
Sonar, yeah.
the Sonar, yeah.
Yeah, they're two. So I mean, it's what we are proud of. Probably we need to be proud of because we already break the ignorance.
Religious.
The we unveil
The religious belief.
those kind of energy that
The
covered
the four corners of jail.
the blind
Yeah.
the humanity. I mean, it's
We
The,
get
the
out.
blindness of an elephant.
yeah.
We get out the four corners of the jail of religion.
Yeah, we're all equal value. It's still
We are
but-
free.
Yeah, we're free. I mean, we're free, but of course, it doesn't mean like we need to also. I think for me, even we are aware on the teaching, on the truth or creational truth, we got more logic. We, as David said, we have the responsibility. A great power comes a great responsibility. Saying that. That's why we need to utilize the teaching. Why we are here. Even you just listen or studying the teaching, we had the responsibility just like Billy. It doesn't mean you had that knowledge and wisdom, but what you gonna do? What you gonna do with it?
Yeah, and Billy has said if you get the knowledge, or if you're studying the spiritual teachings and you're not putting them into practice, or you're not really making it an intrinsic part of your life, then you're stagnating and you're devolving. Once we have opened the door to the creational teachings, we got to go through it.
Yep, exactly.
And it involves, like you said, it involves a lot of personal responsibility.
And of course, once you
You
already,
can't just sit on your laurels
yeah,
and a student of the creational teaching. You got to jump into the fire.
yeah.
And sometimes it's not very comfortable,
It
you
is.
know?
It's not a lot of challenges too, and a
Yeah. Yeah.
lot of mistakes and a lot of challenges. Definitely. I mean, it's you know
You
what
have to be committed. You have to be committed if you want to make any progress. If you
yeah,
want to gain knowledge and wisdom, you have to be committed
I just
to
had yeah.
sticking with it through the hard times and the easy times.
Yeah, I had a
Yeah.
funny story. Oh, sorry. I had a funny story when I found out the creational truth, the teaching. You know, I mean, I'm ready to die. You know, I mean, that's what I'm saying to myself. I'm ready to die. I already knows this, but no, it's wrong. Because the more
The more you
you
want to
discovered
live.
something, you know, the more you learn something or
Yeah, and
gain
the more
wisdom,
you don't want to die.
yeah, the more you want more. I mean, there's
Yeah,
a lot more that you don't understand. Yeah, you are more. It's like in I don't know. It's like there's a rabbit hole in there. You know? You've been once
Well, you
already in
know,
there.
they've
There's a lot.
discovered that your thoughts are directly related to your physical health and
Yeah.
your mental health, everything. But the thing that I found, and I was discussing this with, I don't know if you guys are familiar with that black fellow, the Fiegel fellow, Wade.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we were discussing the fact that the spiritual teachings actually affect your physical
Mm.
well-being. And I can attest to this. This morning, I had finished my meditation and my readings and everything, and I was getting myself together to go do my daily market runs and all of that stuff. And I was noticing that I felt so vibrant and alive.
Yeah.
And I was thinking,
Mhm.
what happened? And then all of a sudden it dawned on me that the creational teachings, when we start to realize that we are in a constant state of evolution and that every waking moment or every living moment that we've been given here with this particular incarnation is of the utmost importance and value. And so it makes you want to live longer. It
Yeah.
makes you want to
Yeah,
be more healthy, and it
that's
makes
true.
you have a brighter outlook. And all
Mhm.
of those things psychologically translate into better health, more
Exactly.
vibrant
Mhm.
mental
Psychology.
ability, more clearer thinking,
Yeah.
things that you don't associate with getting older.
Mm.
And I literally most days feel at least 20 years younger than I am.
Great. Kuya Ray, you want to say
Probably.
something? Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's something that
Yeah.
something that I've noticed since I started getting into the teachings. It wasn't right off the bat,
Yeah.
but the more and more I get into them, the better and better I feel.
That's the energy.
Mhm.
I'm not afraid of death anymore. So I don't
Yeah.
sit here and hang on to my covers and go, oh God, I'm so afraid of death. No, death is
No.
just nothing. It's
Yeah.
nothing to me. And I think the freedom of that gives me the ability to detach myself from the aging process up
Yep.
here.
Absolutely.
You
Mm.
know?
Absolutely you're correct, David. Like
Right. Right.
energy is everything, you know. The creation energies bring forth into existence why you exist because of that creation energy. Like for example,
Yeah.
this before we start, I'm a bit crook. I cannot speak, but when I read this, engage with this spiritual teaching, creational discussion, it brings me energy. And what's the
Yeah,
time
you
here? It's
feel more
still
alive. You
it's
feel
still
more alive and
it's 2
vibrant.
o'clock
Yeah.
already here, but it's still
I,
awake
I,
because of that energy, excitement. Yeah,
I'll give you an explanation why.
yeah,
Because you probably were one. You were one who signed an oath, emission 13,500 years ago. Because I just read on the CR 570 just this morning, 13,500 years ago,
that's the codex. Yeah,
some of the a lot of the
ETs.
I don't know, those people, no, took an oath that during their incarnations, they will be conducting, they will have a mission of doing this, what we are doing now. And I thought of myself, why am I, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
You too, you're asking, why are you doing it? And you probably are thinking that you are sometimes being given an impulse. Sometimes you are being given some some energy to do it because it was your oath, and that oath that you have as reincarnated from 30,500 years ago,
Wow.
that gives you an energy.
Yeah.
And I don't know the number, but it's on the if you want to read it under the CR 570, while they are talking with Dita and Billy, and we are one of, probably I am one of, because when I read it, probably I am one of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's what you're doing right now. It's your life destiny. If I say that, it's your
Mhm.
destiny. That why are we here? It's not by chance. It's a destiny. Regarding with the contact report about the codex that will help the mission, 13,500 years ago. It's been there that we need to because there's a two ways, there's a two reason that voluntarily and cannot break the codex. By the way, the codex is already in after 1989, so all those people that already finish their contract to the mission, they can free whatever they want to do. That's the codex mean. But the thing is, what I'm saying is, those people that into codex, they have no choice. You know what I mean? But
Mm.
after those people, like for me, I committed on this, on even not after, even after the codex, we'll continue doing this. We should commit that. I mean, it's to your subconsciousness and pre-program it for the next lifetime, that you need to find this teaching again so that you can evolve. Because those people that immigrants here, which I'm saying the extraterrestrial spirit form, they're going to migrate and find new planet. Some people go back to Arahat Atersita like Billy. Some people goes to higher council, and some people just go to more advanced world, the Exodus after 3995. And we are in the start now of that fully pace of Aquarius. And people are so, I don't know. I believe in natural selection, that people that doesn't get this, the universe, the creation will do things so that they will shaken them. You know, they need to
Mhm.
break their belief, break their false ideologies, all the lies, even in the politics, in those intelligence area, geopolitics. They'll all break away. They'll all shatter. They will shatter that, because that's how we're doing. That's the universe doing right now. We had that energy of Aquarius who will wash all the ignorance, all the blind belief, all the, yeah, sectarian.
You know, that now that those of us who have aligned ourselves with
Mm,
the creation teachings won't have to go through that.
no.
You see, we've been liberated from that experience. Uh, they say if you can't, if what is it? If you don't learn by seeing, you'll learn by feeling.
Yeah, absolutely correct. Like
And
by
but there's another thing. We were talking about this vitalization, the vitalization of the human form and the psyche by the creational energies. And I think what is happening is that as we progress in our study of the creational teachings and align ourselves more with the creational energies, we start to exhibit the traits of creational energy, which is ageless,
mm,
which is timeless, which is all knowing, And that doesn't mean that you walk around and like a know-it-all. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about that as we begin to understand more of the creational teachings, there is more from our what do you call that, the memory banks.
Yeah.
The memory banks start to open up for us, and we start to realize more and more. And we also start to realize in a sort of a very vague and shadowy way what our former incarnations were doing. We start to feel that direction or that energy flow that we're in. And I think that's part of the thing that the teachings are revitalizing those who are trying to understand them. It's one of the gifts, I think, of the teachings.
Yeah.
Is that we're being liberated from all of the old thought forms and all of the old assumptions that when you're 72 years old, that means you're getting ready to die, and you might as well pack it in and all that kind of stuff. I'm free of that. I don't have all that burden on me anymore.
That's why. Sorry, Kerry. Yeah, go ahead.
I have one question. What is getting reincarnated in us? Is it the creational energy, or is it something in our body?
What do you mean?
What is getting reincarnated? What comes from the previous one and then come to us? What is it? Is it the creational energy that comes from the other body, from the previous one? Or what is it?
It's a creation energy. I mean, the creation energy, but of course, every creation energy has its own counterpart, which is the OCB, overall consciousness block, that goes also to beyond. And then that overall consciousness block, but when the creation energy reincarnated, it empowered that OCB, and that OCB creates a new consciousness block. That new consciousness block is it has a new personality, a new experience. But of course, the knowledge and wisdom is in there because we had the OCB, the consciousness block, which is where we store our knowledge and wisdom, all the workout essences that we work out from previous life of any past lives. I mean, and then slowly that new personality will adapt to that overall consciousness black and slowly getting impulses from it. So it's not there's no such thing that loss. Everything here in the whole universe, it's stored into something like creational storage bank, personal storage bank, cosmic storage
like a computer.
bank. Yeah, it's a computer. It's all back up. It's like a cloud system that every time you are being aware, you are being evolved, and it touched that link, and you can get that impulses, and then you are connected to it. You're connected to that storage bank, to all storage bank. Even overall consciousness block is a storage bank of workout experience, knowledge, and wisdom. Of course, creation energy empowers everything. So that's the reason why we are even young, old, everything. Even you missed this one. Even you didn't read the book. You haven't read the book yet, but you still get that knowledge and wisdom because that's never lost. That's how.
Even you're only 21 years. Even you're only 21 days old.
Yeah. But of course, your consciousness will utilize everything. That's why it's very important to train our
You
consciousness.
still have no environment.
Yeah, we need to train our consciousness. Yeah.
I've often looked at the incarnation as like what it looks like in my mind is sort of like an atomic structure. And our spirit form, our spirit energy would be the nucleus of the atomic structure. And then our overall consciousness block, our memory banks, etc., would be the protons and neutrons that surround the nucleus of the atom. But that ring of our current incarnation that is around the core of the spiritual energy is our current incarnation. It's our life experience. But we can still access the outer layers, but only when we are developed enough in our consciousness, in our psyche, when we're developed enough to utilize it. Otherwise, it's like a 5-year-old kid picking up a treatise on physics.
Yeah.
You know,
But
it's useless.
underdeveloped. It's useless.
They can
yeah.
see it. They can see it and they might be able to read a few words, but it doesn't mean anything. Now, we have that treatise. It's in our library, but we can only access it when we have developed a sufficient amount of life experience and knowledge and wisdom to put it to use.
Yeah. That's why it's very.
And if you are able to have a connection, if you are able to have a line, an open line between the creational energy or the spirit energy and your consciousness or your inner nature or consciousness. If you have such, if you have a connection with your subconsciousness and your consciousness, or connection with your inner nature and innermost nature, if you have a line, then you can connect the library that you're saying,
right,
from
the
innermost nature.
That line is knowledge and wisdom.
Yeah.
That's
and
5G.
experience.
If
Knowledge,
you have a
wisdom,
good
and experience.
if you have a good line, you can use a 5G. But if you don't have a good line, then you can use only a small 3G or
Use a
2G
copper
probably.
wire.
Yeah. Or broadband. Or
Copper
using
wire
copper
with a
wire
lot of
right now.
resistance in between.
I mean, it's that analogy is valid. You know, I mean, it's like us, you know. If that's why experience, if you are aware of your experience and you learn from it, you can easily evolve. You know what I mean? Like for us, you can utilize the knowledge and wisdom from your previous experience because you are aware of it. That's why that's just a more important thing. You are conscious aware or conscious aware or what you're doing, right? What is your experience? What's the lesson? You're just objectively, purely observing. It's like in meditation, right? That's why it's very important to meditate, to purely observe and stuff like that, and think. Had a moment of time to think. I mean, it's not to think like overthinking. It's like just observe and be objective for what you see and what you see and learn from your own experience. And then of course the more developed you are, the more developed we are, of course we are easily access on that kind of knowledge and wisdom from creation. Yeah, this like expanding our range or our signal. That's what the
That,
analogy.
that's why meditation is one of the best sharpening stone
Yeah.
on how you can connect directly with the innermost nature, with your creational energy, with your spirit energy. Meditation is one. You can communicate it because you need concentration. Otherwise, you will not get concentrated because of the environment that we have now.
Yeah. It's yeah, that's correct. Consistency also, like keep showing up, keep doing what you're doing, even slow, you know, like slowly but continuously or surely win the race. That's what Billy said. I mean, it's on the way to live. It's like for example, yeah, you've been, if you're like you're being good for a year and then you stop and then okay, I will stop now, and then it will become, I don't know, it will become rusty. It be and at it entrophy, like entrophy, what it called it. It will weaken.
Entropy.
Yeah, it weaken the muscles. That's why
Yeah.
we keep turning up. We keep doing something even slowly. We progress. Right. That's what we
Yeah.
doing at the moment. We just we had consistent time, consistent meeting of the week, consistent, we meditate together. That's the value of it, right? That's the value of us together, like a small fire in a charcoal. If they're together, they burn together and create more heat. hear it more warm or something
Yeah.
like that. Hmm.
Yeah, maybe we could ask Sor or Jenny or Dels, everyone. Maybe they have a question
Yeah,
on the
sure.
topic. They have a question to David
Or to add something.
about the topic. Sor, you are now awake, fully awake.
Wala po akong question.
You don't have questions. Okay. Jen?
Salamat po. Salome,
Mm-mm.
I don't have a question also. I just trying to digest all those discussion that I heard and trying to figure it out with myself. Then at the moment, this is the one I'm doing. Thank you.
Yeah, that's right.
Jenny,
Thank
don't
you.
forget you can go to YouTube and get a replay of this if you want to study up a little bit more on it. So it doesn't have to end tonight. You can take
Yes,
it up later.
continue.
How about Delbert? More lots of customers.
I
Hi,
think we put them
Delbert.
all to sleep.
Anyway, I just read this one. The age of Aquarius itself forges ahead with horrendous power and spurs on the striving of the human being. It's a time of the highly pressing truth that demands for intellect and rationality, for logic and knowledge and progress. It's a time of the breakthrough of the natural sciences and all other real and truthly sciences. It's the new time, the time of renewal, in this time which no longer wants to believe and no longer wants to be connected to assumptions, but rather solely exclusively and only wants to know. And all the rational human beings of this time, to their creational law-given striving, want to evolve, advance, and progress in their knowledge and their intellect and rationality. So what I'm saying, it's like we're here now. This is age of
Yeah,
Aquarius.
Renz. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm thinking of what you are saying, what you have read. No? If even Billy and Vita mentioned or discussed about if they know, if the scientists know about the creation of an energy, the inventions could probably be higher than what they are doing right now, having right now, because they can probably go up to the 12 senses that Billy and Pita have discussed about. And at the same time, the atomic energies, the atomic, no, they can go beyond it because it's different already. They will be thinking of a different, like what David said, that they are still confined in the four corners of the jail. They could not get out because they are still stuck into their knowledge, limited knowledge, because of religion. Like before, wherein it was they are persecuting those people, or even the inventor of or the one who said that the earth is round. Who was that? I don't remember that.
Copernicus.
They are being he was persecuted by by religion.
Yeah.
Same
So
thing
was
with
Galileo, I think.
yeah, that was Galileo.
And Copernicus.
Vinci, I think.
Yeah. They're both
All-
all
And
the
that's
all the
that's
All
that's
revolutionary
inspirational.
thinkers have been
Billy.
all the visionaries,
guilty.
all the visionaries, all the yeah, like the thing, like Albert Einstein when he presented the law of relativity, he was mocked around by previous scientists or his fellow scientists. Oh, it's all fraud, it's all godly, whatever. They all mocked around. All those thinkers, innovators, they're all mocked around by the people. Even us right now that we are a bit aware of
Like
the truth.
Tesla.
We're all mocked around by people around us because they said we are crazy, which is okay for me. They call me
Because
crazy.
as David said, they are still confined into the four corners of the jail,
Yeah.
the corners of religion.
Mm. That's why
If
it's
they just get open up, they just get open up, read the books, read the scientific explanations that is being provided by Billy. The only concern is they'll be using it for war
yeah.
and
That's
distractions.
that's what
And
I'm
that's the
saying.
concern.
If we discover such things, like we break through physics, right? I mean, it's our consciousness here on Earth generally, the Earth consciousness are not that evolved yet. I mean, it's like giving a knife or scissors to a 5 years old. So what they gonna do with it? They just like the atomic bomb when Oppenheimer discovered it. I mean, it's although Albert Einstein did it, but of course Oppenheimer split it and then converted it into an atomic bomb. Oppenheimer, I mean Oppenheimer. So it's like something like that. If we break through and discover creation energy and more fine matter or fine energy, we're gonna use it as a weapon. You know? uh, so we're not that matured enough to handle
Well, that's the
those
thing.
knowledge.
The Aquarian age guarantees change,
Yes, yes.
but it guarantees massive change. But the type of change that it will manifest depends on the human beings.
Mm. That's why.
Now, if there's going to be within the next decade, there's going to be
Harsh.
amazing developments. And
It
we,
is.
as students of the spiritual teachings, are going to suddenly find ourselves
Thrive.
with
Yeah.
with just expansive understanding, and it's something I'm really looking forward to
Me
and
too.
anticipating.
Yeah. I mean, it's
But like it's said, the Aquarian age is a two-edged sword.
yes.
And if those who resist that change
They will
decide
die.
to go off the deep end, they might take the rest of us with them.
Yep.
They could blow the planet up. It is a real possibility,
Yes.
But I always keep a holding out for the sudden mass awakening
Yeah.
scenario.
That's
I
right.
keep
That's right.
I keep holding out for that. I
I
keep
mean, it's
that.
2029 is just in the corner. It's
I
only
want to
6
Yes.
months.
manifest that. But
Yeah,
it's.
yeah.
Are any of you familiar with the old the story, the allegory of the frog in the well?
Frog on the wheel or boiling pot. I don't know.
Okay, well, here it is. This will show you the difference and why we run into so much resistance from those who aren't familiar with the spiritual teachings. So there's a little froggy in a well. He's at the bottom of the well, and when he looks up, all he sees is this little bit of sunlight and rock walls and everything, and it's a very limited viewpoint, But there's another little froggy, and he's standing on the edge of the well. And he's saying to the little froggy down below, "It's so beautiful up here. It's wonderful. It's the most fantastic thing you've ever seen, and it's fresh and it's free." And the little froggy down in the bottom of the well goes, "I don't see anything like that. You're crazy. What are you talking about?" And the little froggy, he says, "Well, I can bring you up." He said, "No, I don't believe you. I'll stay down here."
Yeah.
And that's kind of a rough paraphrasing of the story.
Yeah. We can.
It's the resistance of the froggy in the well to being free. He's offered freedom, and he's offered beauty and expansion and life and all of this, but he's so used to being down in the bottom of that well that he can't see, or he can't fathom any farther than where he is,
Yeah.
And there's nothing you can do besides maybe forcing him into a bucket and bringing him up, which
Yep. Absolutely.
against the laws of creation. You can't do that.
We can only
The
lead
only
the horse to
concern,
the well.
yeah, the only concern is that when the frog gets up and it sees everything, it's just like what Pita had admitted, that they have assisted uh, Nazi. Who is that? The Nazi?
Zelensky,
Nazi, you know? No. This Nazi,
Nazi?
the previous one.
Hitler,
Hitler, they assisted Hitler in developing a UFO.
technology. Yeah.
The technology, they provided the technology because, no? So he brought the frog up and give some lights like Hitler. Unfortunately, that frog
Gone
gets a
crazy.
different thoughts of the knowledge that he has, you know. So that's the problem. And even now, and then that's the reason why the Rejaren stopped giving impulses to us, to the inventors, and they left it as it is now. Otherwise, they'll be using those impulses, using it into military for military use.
Mhm.
That's why.
And even
Oh no, no.
and even they stopped making predictions.
Yeah. That's why it's very important to be matured. That's why I'm saying the great power you had, the great responsibility you should be. You know, our current leaders in this world, they're immature. They're dumb. I mean, to be honest, it's very few are really good, but most who really dominated the political ring, they're just stupid, ridiculous, you know, because they don't understand really the life, what life is, the connectivity of everything. They just focus on domination and war, stuff like that. Well, what I'm saying is because we cannot stop the progress of this planet, right? The Aquarian age is here. It's already here. Full pace in 6 years. So we cannot stop that. That's why human beings should adapt the change. If they cannot adapt, they will die. That's the natural selection. That's the law of nature. You know, like for example, those religious believers or something. If what happened if there's something that pop ups like a UFO or extraterrestrial that came here? What happened to them? They will gone crazy. They will riot. Their religion is not valid anymore. What will happen? They will gone crazy. But we cannot stop that. That's the nature of evolution. Either they adapt or they will die. That's the thing. I mean, they die naturally, not the
Well,
killing.
also by the same token, the Aquarian age offers us the opportunity to utilize its energy
Yes.
to progress in our understanding and wisdom. And we don't have to fall into that. We may be affected by it. There's no telling. But like I said, if you don't see, you don't learn by seeing, you learn by feeling.
Feeling,
And
yeah.
unfortunately, I think that the majority of Earth humans are going to learn by feeling, and it's gonna hurt.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
gonna hurt bad.
Yeah,
Yeah, you know, we had
Just
Apple
like
Peace. We had Apple Peace, we
Yeah.
had Collapse, we had all the wars, which is
it's like what
we need to do it.
in
And
my
COVID.
yeah,
COVID.
And then
in
COVID
my
We need to
also.
in my observation, in my analysis on the
Mm.
last contact report that we have noticed that Billy was in US
Yeah, serving 2 hours,
with for 2 hours, right?
taking
And for
photos.
me, and then there is a release of his prediction.
Yeah.
So you just connect it.
I mean, it's the earthquake is coming.
Something could have happened. It could be on my own analysis. It's just my own my own my own thinking. It could have something had happened from Russia and sent something to the US, or coming from the submarine and sent, because as I have heard from the news, from the redacted and some other from some other YouTube channels, that some of the missiles get hit into Russia.
Oh.
That comes from, of course, the missile comes from or made from US.
Mm.
So it's already a part of probably US is already at war with Russia.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
And
of
Third
with
course.
World
that,
Since
War.
last year.
in my own thought,
World War started
in my
last
own
year.
analysis, based on what Billy goes to US for 2 hours, it's a long time, right?
Yeah.
It's a long journey of going around, and then he released his poem about Russia. There are connections,
Yes.
in my own
I,
point of view.
I mean, you're not wrong. Because on what based how I read the contact report, Billy, he released some like a really how call this like how they call it. He released something that we need to fathom and think about it. It's like you need to connect the dots. So, by
He just
reading
provided us
everything.
a hint.
Yeah,
Gave us
providing
a
a
hint.
hint, and you need to connect the dot and do your own assumptions or thinking, and then you work on it. You know what I mean? That's how Billy is. He doesn't spoon feed us and doesn't say, "Oh, by that time there's a war or earthquake." He already lay out everything since
He just gave us
1970s.
3 dots.
Yeah.
3 dots after.
It's just something that we need to take it seriously. Like for here in New Zealand, we're experiencing food shortage. That's funny, right? Yeah, we're with for
No,
it's food basket here, but it looks like we are
funny in a dark kind of
in a
way, I
dark
guess.
thing, right? I mean, it's who will think about it? You know what I mean? And then I mean, it's earthquake. We're suffering
Wait till
earthquakes.
next
year.
winter.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait till next winter. Next winter is going to be a
blip.
body slam.
Yeah.
And
In
people
entire
are just
Europe.
not ready for it. They're not ready for it at all.
No.
All of the stuff that's going on right now with the economy worldwide and everything won't even come to fruition until next year. And when it does, things are gonna start collapsing like a house of cards.
Yeah. It's all
And it's
set
just-
already. Yeah.
You can't tell people about. I mean, I try to tell people all the time, get yourself safe, get generators, get food on hand, get non-perishable items, get yourself squared away. It might be a little bit of an expenditure right now, but everybody is like, oh yeah, whatever,
You're a tinfoil
whatever,
hat.
whatever.
Conspiracy theory.
Yeah, it is. But if they studied history and if they studied current economic data and they started looking at what the economy and what the world is the shape of the world is actually in, rather than just reading what they see in the newspaper and believing all the propaganda, they would see
it's too late.
that this thing is falling apart, and it's falling apart fast. But it's just like telling somebody that on the Titanic that the ship is sinking, and they're still adjusting they're still
partying.
adjusting the deck chairs, and they're trying to figure out what they want to eat for dinner. And the ship is starting.
Just like that, don't look
less.
up. Just don't look up. You know what I mean? Don't look up. After this comment, don't look up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Don't
that's
look up.
perfect.
Yeah,
Yep.
just stay where you are. You know,
Let God do it. Let God resolve it.
Yeah.
I always
That's
go
the
to
belief.
church.
Yeah, nothing will come to me, or maybe
Yeah.
I know Billy.
God loves me.
I'm
God
friend of
loves
Billy.
me.
What happened to me? You know what I mean?
Whatever happens is God's will.
Yeah, right.
Inshallah.
I don't need to do anything. God will take care of it. I go to church every week, so Jesus loves me.
Just believe. I mean, it's
I'm
funny,
sorry, but
Those are the
just-
the four corners. Those are the four corners
it's
of
just
jail.
so absurd. It's just so
You're
absurd.
you're already inside the four corners of the jail, and you are still in chain.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, unless,
It's good that we are all,
unless we are consciously developed. I mean, it's with or it's what we're doing is as long as you had that consciousness develop, maturity, which we are right now we're trying to do, stick on spiritual teaching, that everything there's always a bright side, what I mean? That everything is a process, it's a gift, like all the problems, all the mistakes, all the I mean it's all, even the apocalypse, even it arrive, or those nuclear war or something like that, even they will come, at least our consciousness are evolved to absorb it. I mean, it's matured to absorb it and make some uh procedures or make some things, to adapt to the situation.
We're privy to information that
Yeah.
not many people in the world are privy to right now. And because of that, we have a leg up.
Yep.
But there's something that I wanted to mention, and I don't want to close the meeting without mentioning it. And we've done quite a bit of trashing of the average world population and subtly talking down about Earth humanity and things of that nature. But we must never forget that we are all basically human beings in an evolutionary journey, and that we must at all times try to hold each other in a positive and evolutive way, and hold a place for everyone on the planet to evolve and gain in knowledge and wisdom.
Yeah.
Whether they do or not, we can't let ourselves fall into saying, "Oh, those guys are stupid. Those guys are dumb. They're a bunch of idiots,"
Yeah.
because on a level, it's their behavior we're talking about.
Yeah, not them
Behavior.
personally. Yeah.
You have to be
absolutely.
careful not to mix up their behavior with their humanity. That's all I'm
Exactly.
trying to say.
Yeah, that's my position also. I mean, what I've been saying this again. A great power comes a great responsibility. Like us, we're given a privilege or this to know the teaching, to understand and study the teaching. I mean, we need to help those too. We need to help humanity to evolve. Like
We always have to be willing and able to help, but we also have to realize
but we cannot help
that
everybody.
they only can be helped if they want to be helped.
Yeah, if you extend your hand, if they grab it, and then that's okay. But if they don't like it,
Yeah.
so be it.
Yeah. Or if they extend their hand to you,
Yeah, exactly.
vice versa.
Yeah.
But I'm willing at all times, on the slightest suggestion that somebody wants to know what's going on, I'm ready to help them out. But unless they want to know, they're just going to write you off as a nutcase, as one of these UFO sex cult members.
Yeah.
I still don't know where that come from. I swear,
Well,
I never seen any of that. But
I mean, we're living in the world.
Probably we are one of the members who took an oath 13,500 years ago. And that's the reason why when you are being asked, you have to answer what is correct, what is right. And you have the responsibility of doing it.
Yeah.
And one help that we can do is the meditation, the peace meditation. It's one already move that we can do. And at the same time, what we are doing, learning, talking with each other, getting together, knowing what's improving ourselves, improving our knowledge. Well, that's already good enough. But still, we have to move further, move ahead, but not. We are still in the environment that is still not conducive for the learnings of our logic. It's hard to to give some, or to educate them, to have some mission openly, because especially here in the Philippines, well, it's really so hard to openly educate them. Otherwise, you'll be you will get some. You will be
You'll be
probably
crucified.
expelled from you can be expelled from you can be expelled from whatever, from even in the family, or in the government. And that's one of the concern that is really very hard for us
That's why
here.
we can only lead them to the well, but we cannot force them to drink. That's why even what are posting, even it was censored by the FB police, we can only lead them to the truth.
Oh, yeah.
We can only lead them to the truth. It's up to them what they're gonna do with the information.
Yeah, just lead them.
Lead
Just
them,
lead
but
them, but
just
not
don't force them to drink it. If they're not ready,
procrastinate.
they're not
Yeah.
ready. I mean, but of course, lots of propaganda and lies. That we need
Our
to
primary
fight it.
responsibility lies with ourselves, though.
Yeah.
That is the key. Personal responsibility.
First,
Our personal and
Self-responsibility.
foremost responsibility is to ourselves and our
Yeah.
evolution.
Yeah. That's the
Everyone
only thing.
else has to go their own path.
Yep.
We can help if we're asked or if we have the opportunity, but the most important
Don't
thing
force.
for us is to pay attention to our own evolution and never quit striving to attain more knowledge and more wisdom.
Yeah.
From
That's our
empowering
primary
others.
responsibility.
Yep. Even in our family, we cannot force them. That's basically
Yeah.
true.
No.
Yeah, but what is important is we introduce ourselves to them, and they knew
Yeah.
already our stand.
Yeah.
They will not contradict to our belief, no.
Steadfastness.
But they knew how and where we stand at this point in time of our life. And then yeah, by being they can see how calm we are, how peaceful we are, how broad we are in facing some problems, and that's enough. Maybe that's enough for me to spread the teachings, just how they see
By
us.
example, living by example,
Yeah.
very
Living
Yeah,
simple.
living by example. Yeah.
Be
And
the
that's all.
change.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
want to see the change, be the change.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Just like Michael Jackson say, if you want to make
Yeah.
the world a better place, just look at yourself and make a change.
There you go.
Anyway, we need to finish this. Any final thoughts? 5 more, 2 minutes or something. If not, hello. If not, we can finish the line. But I'm very thankful, David, for joining us again for this and presenting your
Oh,
lecture.
believe me, it was an
Yeah,
honor
very
for me to
nice.
be able to present.
Yeah. So
And I look forward to my next presentation.
Oh, good. And very
Yeah.
thankful
I
to
think
all everybody
it is,
who came to the presentation.
Is it self-responsibility? The continuation in
Yeah, that's the next topic, right, David, for you?
next topic.
The,
Yep.
the
Self-responsibility.
self-responsibility.
Right.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, dokie. I think we'll see you each other again next time.
Thank you, everybody.
And thank you,
Thank you, David.
everyone.
Thanks.
Even you.
Yeah.